Your kids grew up and they moved out of the house. You find yourself wondering what to do with all of the extra time, all of the extra money, all of the extra time, all of the extra time. Is it just me, or did everybody change diapers for a decade? You invested an entire lifetime into raising children, and now they've moved out of the house. It's you, and hopefully you and your partner still, and you're trying to figure out what to make of it, right? Well, welcome to the Old Married Couple Trying New Things podcast. My name is Michael. With me, as always, my lovely wife, Stacy, and we are the Old Married Couple, although we're not old, and that's important to me, not being old. Yes, very much so.
Okay. All right.
I know you say I act like a grumpy old man, but I don't. Well, and I'm not.
Okay, you can say whatever you want. It's our podcast.
You said you weren't going to be hostile today.
Hey everyone. So yeah, we're trying new things, trying to get out there and do stuff we haven't done before, trying to keep things exciting, new, whatever. We've been married for 28 years, so sometimes you do the same old thing.
Well, yeah, and sometimes you get in such a habit of investing all your time and energy into something else, then they move away.
Right, something else being
the children, and you're like, how did we do this again?
Right. So it's kind of like dating again, only much more awkward. What? Sometimes. No.
It seems like y'all, Stacy's really struggling with this lately. Send her some support emails. You're so lucky. Mike is wonderful. That's what she needs to hear right now.
Okay, so let's talk about, what are we talking about this week? What have we got going on?
Well, we went out and played tourist in our own town. That was fun.
We did, because we live in New Orleans, so it's a great place to play tourist. And hopefully wherever you are, you've got some cool things that you can go do too and check out your local area because you live there. So why not know what's up?
Yeah. Go find some stuff to do. There's plenty to do everywhere if you look hard enough. And sometimes you don't even have to look hard. Sometimes you got to stop looking hard and just look around.
True. Very true. So we went to New Orleans School of Cooking.
Right. And
I'm going to start right off by saying it was super fun, and the recipe I'm going to share is something that we learned there.
Right. So you go and they give you this cooking lesson and they feed you. I mean, it's lunch, and it was...
And we'll get into all of that a little bit later, but our instructor shared with us a recipe and a couple of little tricks that she uses, and I wanted to pass them along to you because I was like, yes, that makes sense. So the first thing is, and I don't know how many people really get into this, but I'll tell you, one of my favorite comfort foods, I guess, if I'm feeling homesick for northern Michigan, or I'm just not having the best day ever, I like to have some cinnamon sugar toast. So you make some toast and you put a bunch of butter on there, and then you sprinkle a whole bunch of cinnamon and sugar mixture on there. But what you can do is take some of your sugar, and you have to do this well ahead of time. Take some of your sugar, put it in a little jar, take a vanilla bean, split it open, stick it in there with your sugar, and it will flavor your sugar. So you'll have vanilla sugar to mix with your cinnamon. Even better, right? That's what I think.
Stacy's like, ooh, sign me up.
Yes, even better. So that is just a fantastic thing that I'll probably be going on and on about for years now.
Right. Now, we are on a little diet, though. I got to ask. Of the cinnamon sugar toast and the butter, right? So there's bread and there's butter and there's cinnamon and sugar. Of those 4 ingredients, which one's on the diet?
Okay, so listen.
So what had happened was...
I'm trying to have fun here, and you are really ruining it for
I'm
me
not trying to
today.
ruin nothing. I'm just saying.
Okay. Anyway, so back to the cinnamon sugar toast, because it's just a wonderful thing, and I'm going to enjoy it.
I know.
I'm going to enjoy it a lot.
So I was having a cheat moment the other day, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to make some toast. And I knew that we had like 4 slices of bread left. And I went for it.
And I had thrown it out. Or something had happened.
Or something happened to it.
So anyway, take this vanilla bean and slice it, and you put it in a jar with some sugar. Like, you can just use a little tiny mason jar or an old jam jar or whatever. It does have to sit for several months, like she said 7 months to do this, but yum, yum, yum. And while we're speaking of those vanilla beans, because I think they usually come a couple in a little jar that you get.
Right.
You can take another one of those and split it open again. I like that. Split it open. A little motion with that. And stick it in your bottle of bourbon. And I know everyone's got a bottle of bourbon. You must. I would think. I certainly do.
Yes. Do we have? We might have 2.
I think we've got a couple. Anyway, it flavors your bourbon. You could probably do it with other liquors too, but, I mean, like, I know that flavored vodkas are all the rage. I'm not a big vodka person.
Me either. But flavored bourbon.
Yeah, I would totally go for that.
The vanilla bourbon sounds pretty good.
So, that brings me to the recipe. And I sound like, if anyone watched the way old, I'm going to age myself here, the TV show, The Waltons. The sisters that made the recipe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here is the recipe. This woman called it her relaxer, and it sounded very relaxing. You can get down here anyway, and hopefully, if you're in a small town and you have a small liquor store, you can probably ask your liquor store provider, if you're a frequent customer, of course, to get this for you. And at bigger box liquor stores, like Benny's out of Chicago or Total Wine or whatever, you might be able to find this as well. It's Evangeline Pecan Praline Liqueur. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute.
Right.
It's Pecan Praline Liqueur. Sounds great already, doesn't it?
It's pretty special.
Yeah, it is. It's really good stuff, and you can mix it with a lot of stuff. But so this lady takes about 1.5 ounces of the pecan praline liqueur, and she mixes it with 1 ounce of bourbon. Now, here's the thing. She throws 1/2 ounce of vodka in there, and then she just, shakes it up and pours it over a big ice cube and sips on that for a while. While we were at the cooking lesson, we were seated next to a couple, and the gentleman was a bartender, and he had the same reaction
that I had.
Yeah,
which was
vodka
and bourbon. Why would that? Makes no sense. So infuse your bourbon with the vanilla. Still use the pecan praline liqueur, but instead of just 1 ounce of bourbon, go with 1.5 ounces of bourbon and skip the vodka.
Yeah.
So 1.5 ounces of the vanilla infused bourbon.
Yep.
With 1.5 ounces of the pecan praline liqueur, which comes, Evangeline's not the only company that sells that. There are several different ones out there.
Okay.
But yeah, wow, that would be a lot better.
Yes, absolutely. So, fun with vanilla beans and fun with bourbon. Just
definitely. And no fun with vodka. Like, I don't know. This woman was an absolute killer as a cook.
She was.
But her drink recipe,
Some people like vodka. I've never been a vodka fan.
I don't have a problem with vodka. I don't feel like it mixes great with bourbon.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of drunk. If you combine them both, you just obnoxious and violent.
No, she said it was her relaxer.
I tell you what, you pour equal parts of vodka and bourbon into a frat boy and see how relaxed he is.
No thanks.
Okay.
So anyway, those were our recipes. For those of you watching the video, and then for those of you not watching the video, we want to talk about the hat real quick.
Oh yes, you have a hat. Well, it's a
headband.
It's a headband hat.
And it's red.
It's red.
And I'm wearing a red sweater.
Yes.
Ask me why.
Why are you wearing that red
Please
sweater and hat?
It's my hunt for Red October. No?
Thank you for tuning in for this episode of the...
I think I'm so funny.
Holy cow.
I think I'm funny. All right, continue on.
Continue on? Well, what... I don't know how to continue on with it. That was so bad. It sounded like a joke I would tell.
Yes, quite possibly.
Yeah, a little bit.
They say that couples, after a long time, they start to look alike. Maybe we're just starting to act alike. Because I'm not
I
looking
don't know
like
if the
that.
world can handle that.
Yeah, no.
I think that might be a little not looking like that. Oh, thanks. That's awesome.
Well, no, you would not be an attractive woman. That's what I'm saying.
Fair.
Okay. Anyway, so we went to cooking school.
And it was fun. We really was good. I mean, and this woman was just an amazing cook.
She was.
Sig, stop whining, bud. If you're going to be in here, just lay there and be quiet.
So I have to say that if you come to New Orleans, or even if you live in New Orleans and you're looking for, some authentic cooking and a good meal, it's only $35 a person, which it's a 3-course meal for $35 a person, and you don't get that everywhere.
No, and you don't actually, and you never get that for $35. Honestly, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go out to lunch in New Orleans and eat comparably, it's at least $100.
Yeah, it is. It's expensive. So it was a good deal.
Yeah,
Good
no, it was
bang
a
for your
3-course
buck.
meal. It had included a beer.
It did. That's true. It was a lot of fun, I thought. So they do a cooking demonstration, and they also offer hands-on cooking classes, but we did this one because it just seemed kind of fun. You're seated there at a table, and she does the demonstration, talks you through it. You get a copy of all the recipes. She gives you tips and suggestions, and then you eat after everything's cooked. So we had gumbo.
Yes, we did. Excellent gumbo.
And we learned how to make a roux, which I've never been able to do right. So, can you?
Make a roux?
Yeah.
Yes.
A good one?
Yeah, well, especially now after having gone to the class. She did. I learned some stuff. I mean, she was definitely old school New Orleans cooking. I mean, she knew it was up. So
Yeah. Yeah. That was
So
very good.
I picked up a couple of tips, but now, I mean, I kind of knew what I was doing with the roux, but now I really do.
Yeah. So now we know how to make a really good gumbo.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Not a Creole gumbo with the tomatoes.
Right.
Just a regular old gumbo.
Which is how gumbo's supposed to be. I don't like it with the tomatoes so much.
Okay. But yeah, so that was good, and then we made jambalaya, which was yum.
Yeah, her jambalaya was very good too.
And it helped me out a little bit because, to be honest, I'm afraid of seasoning. I am so Midwestern that I am afraid of seasoning. I'm afraid of salt.
I'm not even going to say a word. Not going to say a word.
So it helped me. I learned a thing or two.
Well, and so the great thing about, like, and she sent us with the recipe and stuff for for the gumbo and for the jambalaya and the recipe for pralines too, which was kind of
Yes.
cool. So we actually learned a little bit about that too. But the cool thing is, while she was cooking, she didn't use any of the recipe. I mean, like, the recipe it's not like she had everything measured out perfectly. She just knew the ratios of stuff she needed
Right.
and the number of people she was cooking for and just did it accordingly.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting. So there were 50 people in the class, and she said with 50 people, because we were doing gumbo and jambalaya and the pralines, she was going to figure that dry rice, 1 cup would serve 4 people. So based on that, she then divided it out, and then you need a cup of chopped onions for each cup of dry rice, and then you need half the amount of celery, so 4 cups of celery basically, because it was 8 that I think she
Right.
did, or did she do 12?
I can't remember.
Bad at math.
That's why the ratios are important, though, because it's
Right.
easy.
Right, and then half again of green pepper. So
As
like
long
if
as you know that for your trinity, right, which is the onion, celery, green pepper.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 1 cup of chopped onion that you need, it's a half a cup of the celery and it's a 1/4 cup of the bell pepper.
Yeah.
It's just really easy, and once you've got that down, you're good to go with everything else.
Yes, and so she was really, I learned a lot. It was really a good class, I thought. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure.
And the food was so good.
Yeah,
so
it was a blast.
Good. Yeah. Because gumbo can be hit or miss, quite
Yeah,
honestly.
it's either good or somebody shouldn't have made it.
Yep.
You
and
know
this
what
was
you,
good
yeah,
stuff.
you know what you're doing with gumbo, or forget about it.
Right. Right. So the gumbo was good. The jambalaya was really good. Like Mike said, we got a beer with that, so our beer was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was good. Good stuff. And then she made pralines, and that was fun too.
Right.
She also did the old New Orleans joke down here. The little nut that you use for the pralines is a pecan, the soft
Yes. Pecan.
pecan. Do not call it a pecan because honestly, she's right. You're going to wind up down on Bourbon Street some night and you're going to be looking for a pecan and it's going to be the wrong thing.
Can somebody peed in?
Yeah. Bad. Not good.
No, that's it. Yeah, that was a horrible joke. She told that joke. This woman was like 80. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, but I mean, she's been around. She knows.
Been there and seen it. Maybe even done it.
So pralines are, it's a pecan candy with
Right.
brown sugar and butter, right?
And some milk. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just real easy. Kind of like, my mom makes she makes some candies and like a peanut butter fudge and stuff. And it's the same sort of thing. You just cook all the ingredients together, you heat it up to a certain point, 240 degrees.
Softball stage.
Yes, we learned that. Well, I knew
You
about
knew
the
that.
softball.
And I learned that from you, so.
Yeah. But I did not know that softball stage is 240 degrees.
No. Yeah, because you learned how to measure it differently by, the consistency
Right.
of what you were cooking.
Right. So for those of you who don't know, you're cooking a candy or a fudge or whatever, and you have it heated up in your pan. Have a little cup or glass or whatever of cold water there, and you take just a little bit out of your pan and you put it in the cold water, and then if you can stick your finger in there and make a little soft ball out of it, that's it's ready. That's
Yeah.
your softball stage.
And really, with pralines, you got to get them right there too.
Mm-hmm. And those were good. I could have had more of those because I really love them.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot with them. If you're not really a candy person, if you don't like a big sugary candy, I do. But if you don't, you can heat it up and put some ice cream on that.
Right.
You
Or
can-
put it on the ice cream. You can melt them right down and use it as a topping for ice cream.
Right, right. She also mentioned, and this one is one I'm going to try. You take a sweet potato. And then you melt a praline on it. I'm like, yes.
It would be good.
Yeah, very good. Oh, there's the ghost
The ghost is banging away.
playing with the lights.
So all in all, that was a lot of fun, and I like kind of going out and playing tourist every once in a while in town. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, me too. It just gives you a fresh perspective, and now is a great time of year to play tourist, at least here, because it's not Mardi Gras yet. The festivals a lot of them are done. There are some fall festivals still, but it's just a good time to hang out and check out your own town.
Right.
So fun
So
stuff.
very cool.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'm supposed to have a life hack. Is that a
Do you have something
ongoing
for
thing?
us?
I think I might have a couple of little life hacks, although I can't remember. I mean, there are a couple. So I've been looking at a lot of these, and some of them I've used, and some of them I know. This one I've used and know. And so, bug bite. If you get a horrible, itchy bug bite,
Like I had
easiest-
earlier.
like you had earlier, Bengay. Put some Bengay on that. Itch goes right away. Instantly. Stacy didn't know I was going to say that, and she doesn't even know what to do.
So 12 years old. I'm so sorry. I'm such a 12-year-old. Do y'all remember the old joke? Someone would say Bengay, and you'd say how long?
Yeah.
I just.
That's
yeah.
what went through your head?
Sorry.
That's a wildly inappropriate joke these days.
I know. I'm just so 12 years old. Sometimes I can't help myself.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry that I'm like this.
So awful. So yeah, that's my little life hack. Works really well.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
It is.
Do you have another one for us?
Another life hack?
You said one or two. So
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
asking.
had another one that I was thinking of, and then it's now gone from my. You know how it is. You just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there, and then it's not there. That's what happened.
So they say that one thing that will help you with your memory, aside from word games, is like choreographed dance in a group. I'm not kidding.
Really?
Seriously.
See, no, that's not what. Saying it out loud helps me with my memory. So, like at night when I take Ziggy out, if I come in and I say out loud, I lock the door, then I don't have to check it. Because I remember that I locked the door and I don't have to walk back over there and check it later, or walk back downstairs and check it when you ask me.
Right.
Did you lock the door? I can't remember.
Okay. Good to know.
So,
good to know. But also,
choreographed dance?
yeah.
Okay, well,
No.
I'm just going to say stuff out loud.
Okay. All right.
Choreography, not necessarily my thing. All right, so we got to talk about next week. Because have we decided what we're going to do next week?
I don't know that we have come to the same decision.
Okay, well, what were you thinking we'd do about next week?
So, we're going to be on vacation next week. And we are doing a nice big road trip. It's going to be so much fun, and we're going to have so much to share with everyone. But I don't think that next week we are going to get a podcast out because we'll be traveling.
It might be tough to do.
Right. So, if we manage to get one out, just
be happily
that'll be
surprised.
Such a bonus. Otherwise, we've got so much to share when we get back.
Right. And we can do some Facebook Live updates, like along the road trip and stuff, and that'll be fun. So we'll do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to have a lot to talk about when we get back from our vacation. And also, we're doing other fun things. Of course, it's October. October is Halloween month. We live in the spookiest city. It's just a blast. There's a lot to do here. And one of the things that we're doing is I dance with a group called the NOLA Angels, and we are in the Halloween parade called the Crew of Boo Parade. And Mike is going to parade along with us, not dancing.
No.
I couldn't convince him to do that. Plus, it's all women dancing.
Right.
But he's going to help keep the crowd back. And
as a guardian angel. Is that my job, keeping the crowd back, or am I just really protecting you guys from horse poop?
both.
Okay.
Both. So people and
People and
Poop. Yeah.
Sometimes they're the same thing.
But not in this case.
If they're drunk enough. The ghost got us. So we're still here, but our light just does this weird thing where it just sometimes shuts itself off, and that's what it did. So we're going to go ahead and end this in the dark.
Yes, because, I mean, it's October, it's Halloween
Right.
month, so why shouldn't the ghost come out?
A little spooky.
Yep. So we do want to thank you for listening to the Old Married Couple Trying New Things podcast. It's a production of OMC Broadcasting. As always, feel free to check out our website at omcbroadcasting.com. You can send us a little email. I think I've mentioned before, if you want to see Mike do stand-up, it's michael@omcbroadcasting.com. And, lights
hey,
back on.
lights.
See, the ghost is playing with us. And as always, check out our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram. We're on Twitter. And, yeah. Thanks for listening. It's always fun.
Bye, y'all.